Hello and welcome to Liverpool Report. This is your home for all the latest Liverpool news, match updates, transfer stories, and in-depth analysis. Stay connected and never miss a moment. Subscribe now to stay ahead with everything happening at Anfield. Newcastle have compiled a shortlist of top strikers amid interest in Alexander Isak, but they remain determined to hold on to the Swede. Isak, 25, has established himself as one of the deadliest number 9s in the Premier League since joining the Magpies back in the summer of 2022. And only Mohamed Salah and Erling Haaland have plundered more goals than him in the league this season. Arsenal have been credited with an interest in the former Real Sociedad striker for months, given their need for an elite frontman. Liverpool have also been thrust into the equation in recent weeks, amid speculation they could seek an upgrade on Darwin Núñez, who has endured a difficult season in front of goal. Newcastle's stance on Isak remains the same. They have no desire to cash in on their star striker and plan to open contract talks with him at the end of the season. But that hasn't stopped them drawing up contingency plans, with the Mail revealing that the club have been monitoring a number of strikers who would only become targets were Isak to leave, including Benjamin Sesko. The RB Leipzig frontman is also known to be a target for Arsenal, who will enter the market for a new number 9 in the summer after keeping their powder dry in January. As well as Sesko, the Magpies have also been impressed with Jonathan David and Liam Delap, who has stood out for Ipswich Town in the Premier League this season. Delap is another player who is set to be in demand in the summer after plundering 10 goals for the Tractor Boys in the league. Manchester United and Chelsea have both been credited with an interest in the striker, who spent time with Manchester City before moving to Suffolk. Newcastle Chief Executive Darren Eales reiterated earlier this week that the club were under no pressure to sell Isak or any of their other top players, who are all signed up to long-term contracts. The reality is that all of our players are under long-term deals, Eales said, per the iPaper. They're committed to the club. So from that perspective, we're not looking to move any player on. We've got that wish and desire to keep our key players, and we're not under the gun to sell or anything like that. We've got an ownership that is ambitious and wants the best for the club. So from that perspective, it'd be crazy for us to consider it. Liverpool captain Virgil van Dijk hit back at PSG chief Luis Campos in the tunnel during a half-time shouting match at the Parc des Princes on Wednesday night. As the teams made their way back to the dressing room at the break, PSG were furious with Italian referee Davide Massa for failing to dismiss Ibrahima Konate. Konate appeared to nudge Bradley Barcola as he attempted to latch onto a long ball, and the winger went to ground, claiming he was pushed in the back by his international teammate. Ref Massa ignored the incident, which was also subject to a VAR review, but the officials were happy to let play continue, much to the relief of Konate and Liverpool. But PSG football advisor Campos, recently linked with Arsenal, let rip at the officials at the interval and could be heard shouting, "It's a red card or a penalty in every part of the world," during footage released by Canal+. Immediately, imperious Red skipper Van Dijk responded, bellowing, "Come on, this is not League One, brother." That did not calm Campos down though, as he continued to shout, "Red card or penalty in every part of football." TNT sports pundits Ali McCoist and Rio Ferdinand believed Konate was lucky to escape punishment, as the ex-Manchester United defender claimed during TV commentary. "That is a foul. I think it might just be outside the box. If that is not a red card, I will be amazed. It will be a shame if it does go down to 10 against 11 in that sense, because you want the best players playing each other equally in the 90 minutes. PSG midfielder Vitinha did not want to blame the controversial decision for the result, as he felt the hosts dominated the Reds and deserved to win. He said the foul on Barcola. "It was difficult to see. I can't talk without seeing it, and we're not going to hide behind that. Konate, however, was adamant he did not foul Barcola though, telling French TV there was a VAR check. If there was a push, like you said, I would have been shown a red card. I'm telling you that there wasn't a foul. It's true that I am very strong, but I don't apply power. I just put my arm. If I'd put a lot more power into it, then we could talk about it. But it was soft for me. Harvey-Elliott's late strike, less than a minute after entering the field, gave Liverpool a priceless 1-0 lead ahead of next week's crunch second-leg shootout at Anfield. Ibrahima Konate insisted he was innocent after being spared by VAR in Liverpool's win versus PSG. The Reds secured a slender 1-0 success at the Parc des Princes on Wednesday evening. Harvey-Elliott's late goal sealed victory despite the French champions dominating the majority of the game. It could have been very different had the hosts been handed a penalty following an incident between Konate and Bradley Barcola. The French defender appeared to take down his opponent with a free run at goal. No penalty nor red card were initially given, while Konate was also given a reprieve upon a VAR review. The decision left PSG chief Luis Campos furious, who could be heard shouting, "It's a red card or penalty in every part of the world," at referee Davide Massa in the tunnel. Konate has now spoken out on the incident and is sure that PSG were not deserving of a spot kick. Speaking to Canal Plus, he said there was a VAR check. If there was a push, like you said, I would have been shown a red card. I'm telling you that there wasn't a foul. It's true that I am very strong, but I don't apply power, I just put my arm. If I had put a lot more power into it, then we could talk about it, but it was soft from me. And while Konate and Campos made their feelings on the incident very clear, there were a few more considered responses. PSG midfielder Vitinha admitted that the lack of a penalty was no excuse for the French champions. "It's difficult to tell. I was far away, so I couldn't see it," he said. "We're not going to hide behind that." Meanwhile, PSG coach Luis Enrique remained tight-lipped as he added, "I don't really like to speak about refereeing." Slot, however, was full of praise for Massa and his performance during the game. The Dutchman said, "It's not easy if you are a referee in a game like this, when the fans are so there for the home team. I don't feel he was in favour of us or in favour of them. I think he was a top referee in a game like this." Liverpool and PSG will renew rivalries next week, as each of them attempt to reach the quarter-finals of the Champions League. The winners of the tie will take on either Aston Villa or Club Brugge in the next round, the former 3-1 up after the first leg. Jamie Carragher has hailed Alisson as the greatest goalkeeper in the Premier League's history following his performance against PSG. The Brazilian pulled off 9 saves in the first leg of the Champions League last 16 tie between the French giants and Liverpool on Wednesday night. That performance proved to be key as the Reds kept a clean sheet at the Parc des Princes, despite the hosts having 27 shots. Remarkably, they scored with their only shot on target through Harvey-Elliott's 87th minute strike to claim the ultimate smash-and-grab win. Alisson was unsurprisingly named man of the match following his display. That saw him picked to represent Liverpool in the post-match media round, including with CBS, who Carragher works for as a pundit. The Reds icon made it clear how highly he rates Alisson ahead of the interview. He also delivered a cheeky dig at Schmeichel, who was standing next to Alisson in Paris. Carragher said, "What we have is the greatest goalkeeper in Premier League history alongside Peter Schmeichel." Schmeichel is routinely held up as one of the best keepers in football history, having won 5 Premier League titles and been named UEFA's Keeper of the Year 3 times. Carragher, meanwhile, admitted that Liverpool were indebted to Alisson for their win over PSG. "That's one of the biggest robberies you will ever see in football," Carragher added. "I can't believe what I have just seen. PSG were absolutely outstanding. They battered Liverpool. The last time Liverpool won the competition, Alisson made a save against Napoli in the last group game, and they could have gone out if Napoli had scored. That is always looked back on as a defining moment. That wasn't a save tonight. That was arguably the greatest performance of his career, certainly in a Liverpool shirt. If Liverpool go on to win the competition, which they have a great chance of, that performance will be remembered for years to come. Alisson himself admitted his performance in the French capital was the best of his career, but he also hailed his defenders for their efforts, insisting he would not have been able to keep a clean sheet without them. Probably of my life, I think, so far, hopefully. The manager was telling us how hard it would be to play against PSG, how good they are with the ball, and we have to be ready to suffer. When you see the clips from the opponent, you know what is coming. So much quality in their side, he told TNT Sports. The biggest part of the chase is always having someone to make the player who is having the chance think a little bit more. So, it makes my job easier, all the effort the team puts in. At the end, Harvey coming in and scoring the goal, it's unbelievable and a great story for us. A great night.